And now, enjoy a life rich with results on The Rich Life with Anita Rich.
I like that James Brown stuff. So, for all of those of you who know me from my Brian Buffini world, you know that that's what Brian plays live all the time at the break and when we come back from the break. And for those of you who heard Brian tell the story, I'm going to tell it as well. But first, I want to tell you, hi, I'm Anita Rich, and I'm coming to you from the Sunset Gower studio at UBN Radio. And I am totally pleased and excited to be here with you today. And I have a very special guest that I'm just going to give you bits and pieces about because I always give away the farm. So today I'm going to have you wonder who she is as it's going to just kind of little by little unfold. But first, let me tell you about my Brian Buffini story. So what happens is Brian plays that song, and then you have down to the last, 2.5 minutes to get to your seat. And what he used to do in the early years was if you weren't in your seat in time, he would make you stand on stage and dance. So one year, and I was actually there when this happened because people did not believe this happened. One year, this lady came running to her seat, and the camera, unfortunately, was following her. And she ran, and Brian goes, excuse me, miss. And she goes, no. I'm not going to get up on stage. No, I am in time before the last beat of I Feel Good. And he said, no, ma'am, I just wanted to tell you that your skirt is stuck in your pantyhose. And the camera followed her all the way to her seat, and everybody was on the floor. So when I hear Feel Good, I kind of I got to check to make sure that nothing's hanging out anywhere. So it's just a funny memory to hear about that. Well, I want to tell you about a quote of something that somebody said to me that fits so right into what it is about having the rich experience. And what I heard somebody say to me is, and I'm going to read it to you verbatim because, I never say anything the way it's supposed to be. To the world, you might just be one person. But to one person, you might just be the whole world. And it really hit me that the purpose of doing this show is so that we could be a lot of things to one another. And one of the reasons I'm so excited to have the guest who I have coming on today, I bet you're dying to know, is because she's that one person, and I don't know her that well, but what I know about her is she is everything to the world. This is a woman who is in the entertainment industry, who has a family, who is an inspiration. She also has her own radio show and does very well at it, where she will talk about anything and everything. I originally came on here and I said, I'm not going to do religion and politics. And she said, leave it to Ann. She'll talk about anything. But basically what I want to talk to you is about taking the rich experience to another level. And by that, I mean, I had an amazing meeting this morning. We were talking about what we're going to do for the Rich Group. I do have a real estate office. I very seldom talk about my team for whatever reason. It's just that I feel that people know. And we are a one-stop shop. I've been a broker for 31 years, love what I do, passionate about what I do, have amazing clients who refer me. And all of that is terrific and wonderful. And it's just something that we work on. But we have now become that one-stop shop so that it does make a difference because there's so many vendors out there in the world that we meet who you kind of walk in and you really feel, yeah, you're sort of important, but you're not the center and hub of their whole existence. And that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that 2014 is the year that you feel like you want to become an entrepreneur, call us. You want to invest, call us. If you want to know if you can ever invest, if you have extra cash, whatever your reason is to find out about real estate, or if you just want to chat, no cost, no obligation, call us. richrealestatela.com is our website, and hopefully you will be tuning in to this station so that you could hear a little bit more about what we do. So, my guest today, as I said, is a dynamo. I've heard it say about her, and I actually have a card that shows it, that she's bold and brassy and audacious. And as far as I'm concerned, she's drop dead gorgeous. But that's because I get to stare at like baby blues, once a week when I walk into the studio. So today I want to introduce to you none other than Miss Ann Walker.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. You know I enjoy showing off anytime I get a chance.
Is that what you do? I just thought you just naturally roll in.
I guess naturally I do that, but I so enjoy it that it doesn't seem like it's much of. It's just who I am, I think.
I know so much about you, and I have a lot of things that have been written out about you. But my philosophy always is me sitting here reading somebody's resume or autobiography is only that. So I'd rather say, tell me about yourself, Ann.
Well, I've been an actor for about 35, 40 years out here.
You're 29 and a half.
Yes, I know. But I came out to California in 74, and to be a big star. I was married. My husband and I had decided never to have children, so we'd been married a long time, and he was very supportive of my career. That was my first husband. And we moved here, and 3 months later I was pregnant. Then I found out I had twin. They thought for a while I had 3 in there. And then when they found out there was only 2, I was really happy. Really happy. And I gave birth in 75 to the 2 things in the world that have totally changed me into a better person. My 2 daughters, and Lauren and Valerie. And so I really just sort of devoted myself for the first 5 years to being a mommy. And I went on tour the summer that they were 5, and we had a college girl who lived across the street that babysat them, and their dad was very hands-on, so I went and did a play on the road with Pat O'Brien and his wife. I don't know if anybody still remembers Pat O'Brien. I do.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I do.
But it sort of solidified that I was back. I was ready to work. And for the next 20 years, them growing up, me being on the PTA, driving carpools, and still working, I look back on it now and I think, how in the heck did I do that?
I know.
I
totally hear you.
And now they're really grown-up women, and one's a doctor and one's back in school to be a psychologist. She's getting her master's. And I
Be
couldn't
careful. That's dangerous.
I know.
Only because I have one that has a master's, and it was always like, she'd look at me and I go, is she just being a good listener? No, she was psychoanalyzing me, and I went, you know what? I want the money back for college. What is this? And yeah, she does have a master's and works with children with autism.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I think we talked about that.
You will be so proud of her because how our kids do these things. I mean, there's certain things in life, like my oldest daughter is an amazing makeup artist, and she has been for 22 years. Can't even believe it. She's been a makeup artist for 22 years. And my youngest daughter does wardrobe for the studios, and she's also a jewelry designer. So I have very, very interesting
Creative
children.
girls.
Creative girls,
Yeah.
right. And then I think, oh my goodness, like where did it come from? But luckily, sounds like you did as well. I kind of said to them, do whatever it is that makes you happy.
That's all I ever said.
And I'm not going to pay your bills.
You will, exactly. And I said, you won't work a day in your life if you figure out what it is you want to do. And I think Lauren, the one that's getting her master's, she vacillates between the 6 years for a PhD and 2 years for a master's. And but she's a straight A student, and she's one of those kids that dropped out of college and is now back in at an older age. And you can't imagine, because I think life experience helped, So if anybody's thinking about going back to school after being out for a long time, I'd say do it.
Do it.
I
agree.
Because
I
think your brain is a lot more developed, and you have a lot more ability if it's something you really want to do. She's also a terrific artist too. So I think she's talking now about going into occupational therapy.
Wow.
But anyway, enough about them. Back to me.
Yeah, there you go.
I have had some highs, very high highs, very low lows, being an actor.
What's your highest high?
I think I love winning awards. So anytime they're ready to give me an award or nominate me, I'm always there, Johnny on the spot. I've won a few awards for different shows that I've done here in town. The theater has always been very kind to me, and so my on-camera stuff, my on-camera life, lots of television, shows during the 70s, the 80s, and 90s. I did a lot of television in the 80s and 90s, and a few movies. Father of the Bride Part 2 was one that sort of brought me a little bit of looks good on my resume. And but the main thing was I did a play in 1985 called Sordid Lives. And I got to play this character named LaVonda Dupree. And she was right up my alley. She really was. Set in Texas. The part was written for me by Del Shores. And it was a play. We ran the play for about a year. We ran the play here in L.A. And then 5 years later, they decided to make a movie out of it. So in 2001, we premiered the movie, and I was with Delta Burke and Bonnie Bedelia. It was a great, great time.
Wow.
Then in 2008, they decided to make a series of it. So I was quite the excited girl, and it ran on Logo, but we made 12 episodes the first season. And then can I say son of a bitch?
Oh, sure. You say it on your show. Why not say it on mine?
Well, it's daytime.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
The son of a bitch, Stan Brooks, our executive producer for the TV series, wouldn't pay us our residuals. Yes. We sued. The union sued, the whole thing. I had been on the board of directors for AFTRA for 6 years. And I just knew that my union was going to stand behind me, which they did. However, you can't, when you're dealing with a very, very wily guy like Mr. Stan Brooks, you know, he has the bigger attorneys, more expensive attorneys, and they are able to, it just depends. Gloria Allred said the other day that if you have enough money, you can get justice.
Wow.
But if you don't have enough, you can never get justice.
Wow.
And she may have said it, maybe paraphrasing, but it's true. You know, you get the justice that you can afford.
So they found a loophole whereby they didn't have to pay.
He's now in Canada making movies and stuff. So.
But don't you believe that there's a certain kind of karma that follows these
I
people?
certainly hope so in this man's case.
I think that I've been a real estate broker for 31 years. I was a single mom. I was a married mom. I'm now a very happy married mom for the second time. I'm a grandmother and all that good stuff. But I had about 5 years of going, would it really matter if after I dropped my kids off at school, I would just go home and crawl into bed because, it was like the world doing it to me. And then I just thought, you know what? There are just a lot of people out there who have no scruples, nor will they have any in my lifetime.
Exactly.
And I don't have enough strength or energy. And it sounds like, you took the high road as well. It's not the fun road and it doesn't pay the bills.
Oh, we splattered his name all over in Variety and Hollywood Reporter and gave interviews, and it didn't matter to him.
How many years ago was this?
It was 2010. 2010.
Okay, well, here it is 4 years later. You could splatter him on social media because we have a new forum now. It's called social media.
Yes. Well, we did that too.
Oh, okay. It's like I always feel people have to live with themselves. I mean, I had a difficult first marriage, a lot of injustice financially, blah, blah, blah. And, you get to a point where I just hope. I mean, I'm just going to pretend that karma exists and it works.
Yeah.
I haven't bought any voodoo dolls yet, but that's the next thing I'm going to do. But I just really feel that, you keep your side of the street clean because it's the only one I have access to. And I really, I don't wish anybody ill, but I just hope everybody gets what they're coming to. So maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth.
No, I totally agree. I don't really know. I just keep thinking that at some point he's going to just pay us our money. It's not that much.
It's a principle.
But what happened was, I could use $35,000 or $40,000 in my life.
And that's not much. I don't know. Want to know what much is to you?
We only had the 12 episodes. I was in all 12, but they reran them like 600 times.
Oy.
They would do marathons.
Oh,
This was
yeah.
a very, very, very popular series. And now it's on video, and we have the rights to the video, so we get a little money every now and then. But that's why we never got past the first season, though. But Del Shores is now writing 2 movies,
Wow.
which were going to be seasons, subsequent seasons for us. So I think we'll be able to make the movies, and even though they may go direct to video, this character, Lavonda, has been my, I guess, it's just been my crowning glory in all my stuff. And I've done lots and lots of great characters on the stage and in movies, but never one that has resonated so much with the public.
Wow.
And they are my fans. And those are the ones that I started doing my radio show for.
Oh, well, I'm making this up, but because I make up things, but she's your spiritual guide. And she came in that
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
And she just guides you, and she keeps your sense of humor and whatever else there is to do
it-
with her.
It's terrific. I couldn't be happier that I have her in my little stable. People invite me to things. I get to go places because of her.
Wow.
And
Do you behave when you're her?
oh yeah. Unless I'm in that yellow shirt.
Ah!
There's a special yellow ruffled shirt that I wore in the movie, and then we had more made for the series. That sort of sets her apart.
Wow.
She's trapped somehow in her makeup and her hair between Gone with the Wind and what was the other one that I always would say? Gone with the Wind and Cleopatra.
Oh, my
She wears a
goodness.
lot of makeup. She has big, big red hair. Oh yeah, that would be her. And so she's really wild. And I'm nowhere near as wild as she is. I just can't keep it up. She's got a lot more energy than I do.
Oh, that's hilarious. So tell me a little bit about, like, from where I'm coming from, I look at you living the rich life. And I think you understand from the first time I told you that I would consider doing something like this, that I wanted people to understand what richness of spirit was.
That's where I
richness of
said
community.
when we were talking right off the top of when we first met, I understood what that meant. I have been so blessed to be living the rich life, not monetarily maybe, but the richness of my dealings, the richness of my friendships, and what I get to do. A little kid from Texas, a little girl who had no connection to the entertainment industry. I just knew when I was 9 that I wanted to be up on that screen
Wow.
and be an actress. Wanted to be it in the worst way. Didn't let anything stop me from that path.
Isn't that the trick, though?
It is perseverance. You gotta persevere, because if you don't, you have to go find a job.
Yeah. And it's so
You
funny
know?
that you say that, because, I'm in a business where I work and work and work, and sometimes I get paid, and a lot of times I don't. And I know
Yeah.
my mother always says, I can't believe you've been doing something for 31 years where you never know if there's a paycheck at the end of the road.
Be an actor.
Uh-huh.
The same thing.
Yeah, well, no,
You
she
know?
wouldn't take that on either.
No.
So she became an entrepreneur and a businesswoman. But there's something about feeding your passion. And it's like you said, people say, you've been doing this 31 years. Why do you work 50, 60 hours a week? And I said, because I love to.
Yeah.
Because I want to. And then there's days that I just go, I'm taking 3 days off. And I'm gone, and I call all my clients, and they go, yeah, we wondered if you ever, we were wondering where the Energizer Bunny was going to fall over. And I said, no, I take really good care of myself, but I don't consider it work, just like you. And you're
I
so
know.
right.
It's true. It's not, like I say, you'll never work a day in your life if you do something that creates passion in you. And I just have all of this. And when Tony Sweet and I started my show at actually I started with him as a co-host
Wow.
3 or 4 years ago. And we were at the first place he started. And then we moved. He and another business partner started another station. I came and created the Ann Walker Show, because he told me during that 6 months, he said, you should have your own show, because I love to talk. I like to talk a lot, as you may well know, once you open the door here. Please jump in.
Oh, I
anytime.
do. I do. Because I'm your clone. I talk a lot too, so it's perfect.
So anyway, he wasn't happy at the previous radio station, and I was part of that family, and I could see that his ideas were so great, and he was not able to do them. So I was going to invest over there, but then, I don't know, I got this big brainstorm. I said, why don't we start our own radio station?
Wow.
And
It's pretty huge and brave.
but you know what? It is, especially if you don't have the kind of money that it really takes.
Right.
I was sort of naive because I'd never started a business other than my own self. I never started a business before. So I really, this first year, we're celebrating our first anniversary.
Wow.
We went on the air
Woo!
February, yeah,
All
February
right.
1st. And we moved in here at Sunset Gower on January 1st.
Okay, quiet down, everybody. I know everybody on this set's so excited. Okay.
Anyway, so this first year has been, how do I even explain, the most eye-opening, the most rewarding, the scariest, a lot of work. I mean, back-breaking work. Tony Sweet has got to be the hardest worker, and I didn't want to leave him alone with it because I thought, even though I can't figure out how all this works,
Nor should you have to.
well,
That's
exactly.
my motto.
Yeah. But he knows how it all works. And if I can just stay with him and create a pal for him and try to stay with him and work the same hours that he does. Now, we've settled down on that now. I let him work a lot more than I do.
Well, I just looked at him the other day, and I don't know, maybe he's one of those ageless guys, but he looks like he's 20-something. I don't know if he's
I
even
know.
broken 30 and full of energy and cute
Yeah.
as a button. So you go do it, Tony. We
Yeah.
all appreciate it, all
and,
as women.
And I wish that I had, I don't wish away anything, but I wish in back of my mind sometimes that I was about 20 years younger. Because 20 years ago, boy howdy, I was a lot more energetic. And now as I'm going on with my life, I just don't have that energy. It's the energy. But I haven't lost my perseverance. I haven't lost my verve for this. And my show, I love the Ann Walker Show.
Oh, my
I just
gosh.
love bringing people together. And we have a lot of people who tune in and they come in the chat room and make their opinions known, and it's become a little family on Wednesday nights.
Okay, so this is a shout out to my producer. I want a chat room, okay?
You got one.
I got one. So how do
Yeah.
we get in there? Let's not talk about this now so everybody will know I don't know how to do it.
It's on now. I mean,
okay.
it's going now.
People, if you're there, would you start chatting, please? And then when I'm done with the show, I'll chat with you. Something
Well,
like that.
sort of what you can do, it's what we do, is people ask questions. Because I had a lady on a Wednesday night that is a country, and, well, she's moving over into R&B and dance albums and things. It was Dolly Parton's sister, Stella.
Wow. Nice lady.
And she has, like, major fans all over the
All the
world.
world.
So there was lots of people in the chat room, and they were all talking and writing stuff and asking questions while the show was going on. And John, my engineer and my dear friend and co-host, he would read things, comments and stuff, and then people called in, So but it takes time. I've been doing this now for 3.5 years. And
I'm
takes
expedient. I don't have patience. I don't have 3.5 years.
I know what you're
folks.
saying. I do understand because in the beginning I thought, oh God, some of my shows. Whoa.
Oh no, we don't want to talk about those shows. The
No.
first one I went home and passed out. But here's what I do want to say. What I do want to say is that, like you, I like to talk, and I've been told that I'm in love with the sound of my voice, which isn't true because I hate the sound of my voice. But since I'm talking all the time, there's got to be some validity. And I just decided, like I did have a couple of people who sent me private messages on Facebook, and you know who you are. So one of the questions they said was, I'm in a marriage. It's been 15 years. I have one child. I know this is not going to go anywhere. And how do I live the rich life when I'm miserable? And I thought, keep talking to me on Facebook, but I will, in case anybody else is in that kind of similar situation, this is what you do. I think the first thing to do is try to save the marriage. If you've already done that, it's a different conversation. But try to save it. And by that, I mean, try some honest communication.
Well, they must have found something in the very beginning that they had in common when they first fell in love and decided to get married.
Well, you know, Anne, I just find that so many women, depending on how old you when you get married, some of them just want to get out of the house. Some of them have read some magazines, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, this guy fit the bill to 8. Vice versa for women, you know. So there's so many different reasons, and that's a really good point. But I say to people what my husband used to say. My husband was a personal manager for a long time. He was an agent of William Morris, and then he became a personal manager. And he said to me, and if I said this before, it's worth repeating. There are 3 things that are absolutely mandatory in every relationship: marriage, friendship, father, son, mother, daughter, what have you. You must have commitment, meaning I am committed to working out a relationship with you.
Right.
You must have commitment. You must have mutually supported goals. I know you want to be a waitress because for some reason, but you know, you're my wife and I hate that you want to be a waitress, but if that's something you really, really want to do, I'm going to support it. And the third one, and the most important, and if you break it down and think about it later on today, it'll really make a lot of sense. Communicating responsibly without damaging the other party.
Very true.
And so,
Big one.
and so this is what I'm saying to you. If you can communicate and say to this man, are you happy in this relationship with me? I'm not happy and I'm not blaming you. And maybe maybe practice a way of speaking. We all know our partners.
Right.
Whether you're a male or a female. You know what your partner's buttons are. You know them better than anybody else.
Because you installed them.
Well, I didn't know that I had, a seamstress here, but she's right. And you installed them. Exactly. So you know where they are. And you know the response you're going to get because you've tried. Mm-hmm. And when the other things didn't work, you went right back to the tried and true. So if you can honestly communicate without saying you do this and you do that and you're a jerk and what have you, and just honestly say, I'm not happy in this relationship. Just do that for a starter, because what I have personally found, I counsel a lot of women because I train a lot of people to be realtors. And a lot of husbands get very threatened when their wives are going to have their own income. And so I always say to them, first of all, I always have a little party at my house. Like once I take them on as a mentee, and I say, bring your husband. They go, oh no, why? I said, because I want them to know who you're spending time with.
Very true.
And when they realize that I'm a really tough taskmaster and it's not that exciting, it's not like you come in at 3 and at 4 o'clock we're at the bar, that, I'm a tough taskmaster, they're not going to envy the time you spend with me. If they feel
they're
like
going to know they're working.
Right. And if I can get them to see that I'm torturing you enough, they'll be like, yeah, go, go, go. And it's just that perception and it's that unknown that I think people don't know what you're doing at work.
Anything people don't know about, they become fearful of.
Exactly.
So
that's the other part of it. And then the third part about it is if you're willing to go to counseling, go to counseling. If you have a religious or a spiritual background, go investigate that. And if it absolutely doesn't work, then write out all the things that don't work and all the things that are wonderful about him.
Right.
Because I find that what we create in our head, as an example, do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and have something that totally has you like, and you wake up in the morning and you go, why did I almost have a heart attack? It's not that big a deal. But things in our thoughts attach all kinds of emotions with them. And a lot of thoughts don't have to have emotion.
And things are thoughts. So you try to stay positive in your day-to-day existence. You hang on to the positiveness and be grateful for what you do have, not for what you don't have. And even if you're feeling down, if you just take that 10 minutes or 5 minutes and write down a lot of things, just bringing those grateful thoughts to the fore sometimes can get you into a place where you can move on. You're not cemented to your chair. I
don't think it's sometimes. I think it's all the time, because at the end of the day, if you think about it, you cannot maintain 2 thoughts at the same time.
True.
So if I'm looking at you saying, oh my God, you've got the most beautiful eyes, I can't say, oh God, I really don't like her makeup, or I don't like her eye. I mean, it's just, I can only think one thing.
Yeah.
And once you force
yourself. You don't like my makeup?
I actually love your makeup. That's what I'm saying. I
That's
can't
a
have
little
it.
joke. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can take low things. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. To live the rich life, you have to take baby steps. You have to start appreciating. And I think that what's really important is you have to start talking to yourself and listening to yourself. I remember during the time that I had just gotten separated, I had a 6-year-old, a 16-year-old, and an 11-year-old. I think we had an earthquake. It was called the 1994 earthquake.
Yeah, we did.
I couldn't sell real estate even if I threw it against the wall and said, there's
Yeah.
your house. Everything was falling apart. And so somebody said, walk around today just for 1 hour. I look for everything positive. And I said, are you insane? I'm scrounging for food. Like, I got 3 children to feed when I get home, and one of them needs a haircut. Her bangs are down to here. And are you kidding me? I'm looking for money, and you want me to look at happy things? And she said, could you give me 1 hour? And I said, what? Like what? Like, what are you talking about? She goes, when you're driving in the car and you get a green light, go, yay, I got a green light. I'm like, oh, God, I can see this person's like Lulu. And you know, if you go and you have a glass of water and it's nice and cold the way you like it, just go, this water is delicious. And I was like ready to just say, are you kidding? And then I thought to myself, what do I have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What do I have to lose? So I started to drive and I go, oh, that rose over there, it's got a beautiful color. And I did it for an hour. I was exhausted and I burst into tears at the end of the hour because I was filled with such fulfillment, such satisfaction. I didn't have anything more than I did the hour before. There was no financial gain. But I really felt like if I called a couple of my clients and said, you know what, things are tough. We did have an earthquake. There are some great deals. I'm alone with my children. I really would like to find a client that's ready to go. You know, I'm a great realtor. And I actually did that. And I actually was able to do something positive because I wasn't coming from that, not half empty glass, practically, empty to the bottom.
Yeah. That's a tough time. Being a realtor, I do liken that to being an actor.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
Called Rejection City.
Yeah, exactly. And you just have to, I don't know how you do it. I have, in the early days, I have taken to my bed for a couple of days when I didn't get a part that I really, really,
Well, honey,
really
that's
wanted.
Texas drama.
Yeah. Well,
Woo!
But I don't do that much anymore. I walk away. But thank God I now have this business
Right.
that I feel so positive about, and we have all these wonderful people like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Who we get to see every day. Every day it's a new group of faces with the new shows every day, and everybody is their own person, and they're all creative. This is just really an extension of the entertainment that business, but I'm here on a daily basis, so
Right.
I feel like I'm doing something positive every day.
And it's a wonderful opportunity, I also think, because for me, I'm trying to build community.
Yeah.
I don't know diddly. I don't know squat either, but I don't know diddly about
Diddly
the
squat.
I don't know anything about this business. I don't know how it works. I said to my producer, Linda, I said, is anybody listening? And the numbers were
I have
amazing.
said that so many times.
Like, am I talking to myself
John,
and you and John?
John, is anybody listening to us?
Yeah. And so when I get an email, like we gave some books away. Marty, our lender, was here, and we gave some books away. And I had 6 people send me a message on Facebook and then one on my email saying, I'd like a book. So we sent out the 6 books.
Great.
And it was amazing. Like,
I'm
was so
always
delighted.
amazed. I agree with you. And especially when you get somebody calling from England, wanting to know what time is your show going to be on. So I actually sat there and worked out that it's 9 hours time difference between here and England. So I worked out that my show would be at 3:00 in the morning. And I said, now, if you don't want to stay up, it's on podcast for later. You can listen to it any time. Because people don't get it, I guess, around the world that we are an internet radio station.
Right.
And that, this entertainment can be at your fingertips at any time.
Which is so fabulous. And part of the marketing meeting I had this morning was I speak 5 languages.
I know that, and I'm so impressed.
Thank you. And I have 2 gals now that have joined my team that are from Sweden.
Uh-huh.
And I love their culture and the integrity. And that's why it's so nice that somebody always brings something new to the table.
Yeah.
And then my assistant speaks Russian. So we're going to take the Anita blog, the Rich Information, and on my website, we're going to translate it into 7 languages.
Oh, what a good idea.
So whoever you are, wherever you're from, you push the button, you have it in your language.
Oh, my gosh. What a good idea.
Because we are international, so why
Yeah,
not? Why have
exactly.
somebody listen to me ramble in English?
And you
It could be
never
staggering.
know when that person may come over here and need a house.
There you go.
and want to buy.
And you know what? If somebody's, if you know, this is why I go back to the world. You might be just one person, but to one person, you might just be the whole world. And that's what it is. It's so global, and there's so many people we can touch, and there's so many things that are going on.
Right.
But people have to reach out. Like people, people say to me, "Well, what is it that you could do?" Yeah, right now you're here, but I know what it's like to be a single mom. And you know what it's like to be in a rejection business.
Yes.
And we all know what all these things are. So if you reach out and you want tidbits and you want a how-to, and if you want just a safe place to vent, isn't that the truth, though? A lot of
Yeah,
the times,
right.
my second husband, that is what we did. I would say something, and, men automatically want to
Do something.
Do
to
something
help
about
you.
it, yes.
Yeah.
And-
but you have to always preface it with, "Now, I don't need you to do anything about this. I just need to rant. I just need to
Where
get
were you the
this
first
out."
2 years? Where were you? Because I didn't, I'd go like, and finally I said to him, I said, you're the dearest, sweetest man in the
Right.
universe. But it's so annoying that you keep wanting to fix my problems. And he goes, "Well, why would you be telling me if you didn't want me to do something?" I said, "You know why? Because you're intelligent, you're kind, you love me, and I consider you a safe place to vent." He goes, "Well, why didn't you say so? I'm racking my brain, So it's just, again,
Yeah.
communicating responsibly.
Exactly.
And now
Exactly.
he'll say, "Okay, I won't say anything." And then 5 minutes later, when I'm ready, I go, "Okay, I'm ready to hear you." And it's brilliant.
Don't you think that also comes with maturity? A little bit of it?
I don't. I
Doing it the wrong way? Because I did it the wrong way in my first marriage. The communications, we were very good about communicating about our children and raising the children and that kind of thing. But when it came to our interpersonal relationship, I didn't communicate very well with him. And we're dear, dear friends now.
Well, I
And-
envy you for that. I wish I was, but we're not. I mean, we do get together for the holidays. And
Yeah.
my daughter was, the therapist daughter, 5 years ago when she got married, she said something during her wedding that knocked me off my feet. She picked up the microphone, went through the thank you, thank you, thank you, and she said, "Had I known that I could get my mom and dad under the same roof, I would have gotten married sooner. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for being here." Now, this is the same daughter who was raised by my current husband for 14 and a half years and then was with
Wow.
her dad for 14 and a half years. And she went to both of them, unbeknownst to me, and said, "You've been with me half of my life and you've been with me half of my life. I'd like you both to walk me down the aisle."
That's so great.
And I burst into tears because that's what I do.
Yeah.
But but that was so amazing that
Yeah.
she really had, that kind of like, who am I going to have? And I thought about it and I thought, you know what? I raised her well. She's smart. She's going to do whatever she does. They'll work it out. And they were both so honored. And
Yeah.
everybody was,
Yeah.
and everybody who knew her, of course, was like, "Oh, look at that, her dad and her dad." So that's why when you said, "Is it about maturity?" She was 28.
Well, I think, though, it comes in at different times,
Yeah, I just think that if more people would understand a couple of things. Number one, and I'm talking to you women because I haven't been a man yet in this life, but I'm talking to you women to say that you can't expect your husband or your boyfriend to be everything. And most of the women, because, I deal with a lot of women in real estate,
Yeah.
and they all go, "I can't believe my husband wants this." And your husband needs to have 2 or 3 jobs that he can do well. And if you want to go shopping and he won't go shopping, stop beating him up. It's always going to end up negative.
Exactly.
He's going to sit there and bitch. If he
Yeah.
doesn't want to go to movies, then find a day a week, find a girlfriend, and sneak out if you can. Like, I make my own hours, 12 hours a day. Sneak out in the afternoon, go to a matinee, whatever it's going to take. And don't sit there and bemoan the fact that your husband won't.
Feed yourself.
Thank you.
That's the way you do it in order to be the better person at home with the kids, at home with your husband. You've got to feed your own self and be creative in your own way.
I read a lot of magazines.
Yeah,
The
the
Artist's
Artist's
Way.
Way. I'm telling you, that is the best workbook ever.
Did you ever take the seminar?
Yes, I did. That's how I did it. And then we did another seminar on walking in this world, which is also Julia Cameron.
Uh-huh.
I mean, what a screwed up life she had, marrying to Martin Scorsese.
I know. Can
oh
you
my
imagine?
God, I can't. I can't.
Sorry, Marty. You are
You're one of a
wonderful.
kind.
Yeah.
He's one of a kind, but I wouldn't want to be married
Oh,
to
yeah.
him.
Well,
But you get to know more about yourself. if you spend a little more time with yourself.
And that's what we're always running towards something. I think the hardest thing for people to be is just to be.
Yeah.
So I do some workshops in real estate. It has nothing to do with anything. And the reason I do it is because I appreciate life. And so when somebody says to me, "Oh, I'm so busy, I can't come up for air," this is what I had them do. You're not going to believe it. Thank God you have a sense of humor. I had them go sit at a bus stop for 5 minutes to set their phone and to just sit there, not be on the cell phone, not be texting, not have a friend there to sit with
It's a
you.
hard one.
You know why? Because all of a sudden you go, this is 5 minutes. This is how long 5 minutes is. But then you stop saying, I have no time for anything. You have no time for anything because there's no routine or schedule in your life.
There you go.
I have people who send me an email and then call me to tell me what the email was. I kid you not. And I go, you know what? Unfortunately, this is why you can't get anything done during the day. Like people say, how do you get so much done? I go, because I'm blabbing all the time, but when I'm doing something, I'm on point.
Yeah.
And then I screw around for half an hour and then I'm on point for 2 hours. But I give myself lots and lots of breaks because my brain can't do 6 hours nonstop of work. I could focus and be really good for 2 hours and then I got to do nothing.
I have to agree with you. I really do. I think that I've had jobs in my lifetime, marketing research. I worked as a secretary, not very successfully. But these were all jobs that fill-in jobs that I had, as an actor.
Well, you weren't a waitress, so you're
No,
already ahead of the
I've
game.
never been a waitress. I applied one time for being a waitress, and I didn't get the job.
But one day you made me an amazing cup of coffee and you put it on a tray and it was lovely and you got cookies
you're
from
so
somebody, so
dear.
you're already great.
Good. Well, I'm a hostess. I like being a hostess.
Downton Abbey's got nothing on you. You
Oh
can go-
God! Do you
Do you
watch
love it?
Oh my
I love
God!
it. I love it. If you haven't watched Downton Abbey, it is amazing.
It is. I caught up with the whole 3 seasons, and now we're beginning the 4th season. And I was I just mesmerized Sunday night when I sat there for 2 hours watching
Beautiful
it.
acting, beautiful writing.
Yeah.
So
Just a
poignant for
beautiful-
today.
yeah.
Even and it's such a different world.
It's true. And you look at that and you go, God, I'm glad we don't live in that kind of oppression for women. And we're still fighting it.
Yeah.
But it was really bad back then.
But it was worse downstairs though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, upstairs, not being able, if you're a woman, to inherit that.
That's something.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
But we knew that they were still running the show, so who's kidding who? I mean, you could kind
Yes,
of tell.
but, you couldn't really. It's going to be playing out in this season
Yes.
when Lady Mary becomes, more vocal.
Of course, my favorite thing is because Shirley MacLaine was born the same day I was. So when she comes on, Miss Shirley, April 24th, love you. Barbara Streisand as well. And I can
Oh.
neither act nor sing, but in the shower I do well. And when she comes on the set, I'm just like hilarious.
so cute.
She's so funny,
Yeah,
Shirley
she is.
MacLaine. And then, of course, I followed her when she was insane, doing Out on a Limb and writing all those books. I loved all that. Okay, so to recap, because my goodness, talking to you was like 2 minutes and we're
Are we
wrapping
done?
up here.
Oh, my God.
Can you believe it? I know, right?
Can't. I get wound. The two of us together wound up.
Can you imagine?
We can talk a pretty good time.
I love that. So where were you born?
Philadelphia. But my father stole me from Philadelphia and took me to Texas. So I could have been a little South Philadelphia Italian, being raised in that household. But it ended up I was a little Texas girl.
Where in
raised-
Texas?
Houston.
Oh, I love Houston. So I've pretty much got a really good idea. Now, do you guys see why I was so excited to have her? I mean, can we just have a round of applause for my amazing Miss Ann Walker?
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
Southern Belle, if I ever saw one.
Well, yeah, I guess I am on a good day.
Oh, yeah. So at the end of the day, give me 3 words that come up for you of what you do every day to ensure that you are going to be living the life that Ann Walker wants, which in my world is called the good life.
Well, let's see. health is number one. Taking care of yourself is number one. Go to the doctor, get your, I know so many friends of mine who don't want to go to the doctor because they don't really want to know what their cholesterol is.
Right.
Or don't really want to do this because they may find something. I think it's really important to take care of yourself, and number one. And number two, just love the world. Love the world. Love is really what it's about. If you've got your health and you can reach out with love in your heart
Wealth
for
follows.
everybody,
Wealth
follows. Exactly. I'm hoping that wealth will follow us here.
I can feel it.
I'm happy that you can, because I feel very strongly that we're in the right place at the right time.
Well, we're going to talk about I Can See Clearly Now the Rain Has Gone. It just came to me. But I do want to just take one quick serious second to say that a very, very dear friend of ours has stage 4 lung cancer. And we're going to definitely keep love and warm thoughts for her, because she's pretty amazing. I'm also on the board of directors for WeSpark. If you know of anybody that has cancer or a family member, it's wespark.org. Pretty amazing. Down the road, Jenna and I, I'm sure, are going to talk about the Jason Alexander poker tournament that I'm the co-host of. And right now, all I can say is, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Thank you for being on the show. Ant's show is on. This is the gorgeousness. Ant's show is on every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's called The Ann Walker Show at UBN Radio Channel 1. Channel 1, just like us. So keep those cards and letters coming. Keep your questions coming. And until we meet again, this is Anita Rich. Love you, mean it.